This Greek frappe, this iced matcha latte and this Rooibos Cappuccino have one thing in common. They are 3 drinks that you can make with your milk frother, and I'm gonna show you how. Now before we start, a quick disclaimer. I'm using the DREO Barista Maker to make these drinks. Now you can use a normal handheld milk frother like this one to make the frappe and the iced matcha latte. But to froth up the milk for the Rooibos Cappuccino, the Barista Maker really is your best friend. More on that later on. For now, let's make some drinks, starting with a Greek frappe.
For this, we only need 3 ingredients. First, some good quality instant coffee. I like to make sure that it's made from 100% coffee without any additives. That way, it's essentially just freeze-dried coffee and nothing else. We'll need some sugar, which will give the coffee its whipped effect and hold the shape. And lastly, a little bit of water to bring it all together. Start by grabbing your frother and add the instant coffee, sugar and water. Then set it to cold foam and switch it on. Within 3 to 4 minutes, the coffee dissolves and begins to turn into a smooth foam like this, ready to be served.
Now there are many other ways that you can make frappe. As I mentioned earlier, you can use a handheld frother, but you can also use an electric whisk or even shake all of the ingredients together in a cocktail shaker.
Greek frappe is usually served in a tall glass. Just add some ice cubes and plant-based milk or water. Our frappe is ready.
There we go, Greek frappe. That just looks incredibly satisfying. Wow. Traditionally, it's just topped up with water and maybe the optional dash of milk, but instant coffee is quite concentrated, so I really like adding plant-based milk instead of water. It makes it creamier, it makes it a little bit richer, and it really balances out those flavors. So it's up to you, but that is incredibly fun to drink. So you're probably wondering whether this would work with normal coffee as well. There's another traditional Greek drink called espresso freddo, and what that is, it's basically espresso shaken with a little bit of ice and poured over more ice. It also gives you a frothy coffee, but that froth doesn't really hold its shape for very long and the texture is completely different. Which brings me back to the frappe and why instant coffee is essential. As I said earlier, instant coffee is basically freeze-dried coffee, and that means that these little granules are pure concentrated coffee. When you mix them with a little bit of water, the concentration of coffee is much higher, which allows it to froth up more easily. When you then add sugar, that creates that smooth, silky whipping effect, and it also means that the froth will keep its shape. A little fun fact here, this drink was actually invented by mistake when a coffee salesman couldn't find hot water for his instant coffee. Instead he used a shaker that was meant for a chocolate drink to dissolve the granules. And the result of that was the first frappe that soon took Greece by storm. But enough of that, let's make our second drink, the iced matcha latte.
For this one, we'll use ceremonial grade matcha. This kind of matcha is made from the young leaves of the first harvest of the year, which gives it its vibrant green color without any bitter flavors. Make sure to sift your matcha to avoid any clumps. Then add some water, set it to 75 degrees Celsius and let it stir. You're essentially creating a concentrated tea with a frothy texture. Now add some ice cubes to your glass, your favorite plant-based milk, and finally the vibrant green matcha.
And here it is, iced matcha latte. Oh, wow. It's completely unsweetened, but I love it that way. It's so good. If you want, you can stir a natural sweetener like maple syrup into the matcha before frothing it up, or use a plant-based milk like oat milk, which is usually quite sweet by itself. But honestly, it doesn't really need any sweetness. This is amazing. Now again, there is of course another way that you can make this drink. Traditionally, matcha is just whisked with a little bit of hot water until frothy like this, and then enjoyed by itself. If you have a traditional whisk, you can use that method to froth it up and then pour it over ice with a little bit of milk, like we did with the frother. One of the amazing things about matcha is that it's the only tea that you actually ingest. And that means that the health benefits are extremely amplified. For instance, matcha has 10 times the antioxidants compared to regular green tea. It's one of my favorite morning rituals, whether you have it pure or in a latte. But now, let's make our third drink, the Rooibos Cappuccino.
Rooibos is also known as red bush tea, which refers to the shrub that's native to South Africa. It's caffeine-free but also packed with health benefits like lowering blood pressure and anti-inflammatory properties. In South Africa, it's often used as a traditional coffee alternative. To make the cappuccino, follow the same steps as making an espresso. Just add the Rooibos, press it down and run it through the machine to have a strong shot of the slightly red liquid. For this, we'll want some barista-grade frothed up milk, so grab your favorite barista oat milk, add it to the frother and set it to oat milk and cappuccino before letting it do its thing. The result is a silky microfoam perfect for a little bit of latte art in your Rooibos Cappuccino.
There we go, Rooibos Cappuccino, also called red cappuccino because of the color of the tea. That is so smooth from that milk, but there's a slight tang from the tea, and it's naturally caffeine free, so you won't be bouncing around after this one. In this case, there's really not a good alternative for frothing up the milk. I tried using the steam wand on my espresso machine, but I could never quite get the oat milk to froth up the same way. So that's where the Barista Maker really reigns supreme. It gives you that barista-style frothed up milk for a smooth finish. The secret here is this impeller blade that has a tiny micro screen attached to it. When you froth up milk, it funnels it again and again through that screen to produce a consistent microfoam that is perfect for any barista-style drink. There you go, 3 different drinks made with your frother. Super simple, but very satisfying. If you like the video, then please hit thumbs up and subscribe. There's many more videos coming your way. And as always, wunderbar!